can't let them keep a good soldier down. See, I rise and take my place. Cause I'm more than a conqueror. I'm gonna finish this race. So call me a winner, yeah. As my God, he will fight for me. Call me a winner. Jehovah done said victory. So when you see me again and you give me a hail, call me by my right name. Call me a winner, yeah. That's who I am. Yeah. A winner, I'll fight this fight with the prize in sight. Never give up on this journey called life. Thankful for where you brought me this far. With this strength I'll keep pushing on and on and higher I go. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna finish this race. So call me a winner. Cause my God, he will fight for me. Call me a winner. Jehovah done said victory. So when you see me again and you give me a hail, call me by my right name. Call me a winner. Yeah, that's who I am. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give in. I know my God, he always causes me to win.
Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome. This is the program Pearls of Wisdom, and I am your host, Giselle Alain Clement. Welcome, and should I say welcome back. Today we are back in studio, and we are so excited to be back in studio today. We thank God for this platform of Mended Studios where we can come into your space. We are so excited to be back. Well, wherever you're viewing us from in the world, in Trinidad and Tobago, it is raining. Wow. And so you see, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I have my hot cup of hot chocolate, or as we say in Trinidad and Tobago, cocoa. So I'll just take one more sip and then I'll get into what I have for you today. So good. Really good. And so the last time you would have seen me was, I believe, sometime in March. And then, as you would know, everyone would know, the pandemic hit. And we had to refocus, re-strategize. And so you didn't see me in studio for a bit, but as I said, today we're back and we're so happy to be back in your space. So you know, as we say on Pearls of Wisdom, call your friend, call your sister, call your mother, your aunt, your grandmother, your nanan. Pearls of Wisdom is on, and we are here to serve you today. So call them, tell them, tune in. We started off the year 2020 all excited at Pearls of Great Price Empowerment Services, the parent organization out of which Pearls of Wisdom, the podcast, comes from. We launched our 2020 vision. How many of you remember? Vision 2020. And then I took you through the paces of establishing the vision. Yeah, I remember some of you sending me messages showing me that you were actually working along with me, doing the work, doing the groundwork of setting your year right. And I was so excited. I was like, wow, they are getting it. And then, as I said, March came and we all were faced with the issue of COVID-19. And so we are in the month of August now, the 8th month. Today's the 8th day of the 8th month. And we describe this month as the month of new beginnings. And at Pearls of Great Price, we have declared this to be the month of transition. And so some of you might be asking, you know, I did all this hard work at the beginning of the year, and then COVID came and it threw everything out of order, out of whack as it will. What am I going to do with this vision, this grand vision that I established at the beginning of the year? Was it all a waste of time? Was it all a waste of my effort? And so today I want to talk with you for a few moments on the topic pivoting your vision. Yeah? So as I like to say, get your pen, get your paper, whatever you take notes on, because I'm going to take you through some thoughts on how to pivot your vision now that we are in the 8th month of the year, the month of transition. So I want to tell you, the hard work that you did in January, it was not in vain. But what you need to do now, you need to pivot your vision. And what do I mean by pivoting your vision? Pivot means to shift. When you say you are pivoting, you are shifting. You are changing strategy. You are shifting your practices. You are establishing and shifting your ideologies. You are shifting into a new strategy. You are recalibrating. You are refocusing, and you are continuing on from this point. So the vision that you would have established for yourself, whether it was a 1-year vision, 2-year, 3-year, whatever the case might be, what you need to do now is shift. Make a shift. I want you to write that down if you're taking notes with me. And I want you to start telling yourself, okay, call your name. Okay, Giselle. Okay, Alana. Okay, Sherlan. I need to now look at what I established at the beginning of the year and make a shift. And that's the first step in pivoting your vision. Assessing where you are, understanding where you are, and understanding that you need to make a shift. Pivoting is not about starting from scratch. So again, you did the hard work in January. You established your plans, you established your goals, you created your personal vision statement. Remember? Yeah, we did all of that back in January. That work is already done. It's already established. So now in the 8th month of the year, you are not going to start from scratch as if it's January again. No. That work is not wasted. What you are going to do is to look at what you have already accomplished from January to this point, and you're going to take what you have already established from January to this point into the next half of the year. You are taking what you have learned. You have taken what you have already built, and you're going to find a new way to execute your vision. You are going to find a novel way, a unique way to execute your vision in the face of a changing circumstance. And what is the changing circumstance for everybody? The changing circumstances came with the pandemic. I know for me, as I said, we haven't been in studio since the pandemic, and we too had to pivot our vision for this podcast and find a new way. We had to make a shift in what our plans were initially in order to continue to serve you and to come into your space. Yes? And so whatever you established in January of this year for your life, you need to understand now that you have to make that shift. You need to assess where you are. You need to take what you have already done, the work that you have already done. The foundation was built. You started to put up the structure. So you have to take the structure that you already started to build and find a new way to execute your vision. So the first step in pivoting your vision again is assessing. Yeah? The second step in pivoting your vision is adopting a vision mindset. What is a vision mindset? Now remember, in January we would have created our personal vision statement for ourselves. What we wanted to see for this year, for the next 2 years, for the next 3 years. And having that vision mindset is that you are still fully grounded, yeah? You are still fully committed, yeah? You still fully believe in the vision that you established for yourself in January. The only difference is now you are opening up yourself to charting a new course for your vision. You cannot pivot and want things to remain the same. You can't pivot and say, oh, I did all this hard work in January. I started, oh, I was so confident. I was strong. I was working this vision, and then the pandemic came. What will I do with all this hard work? Well, you know what? The pandemic came. We are still dealing with it. And so that does not mean that your vision has stopped. It should not mean that your vision has stopped. So you must be open, yeah? And you have to continue to have faith and confidence in the vision that God has given you and that you have started to work. You have to adopt a vision mindset. So you might be asking me, Giselle, okay, I'm hearing you. We need to pivot our vision at this point, the 8th month in the year. We need to first assess where we are, assess what we have built. We have to take what we have built now. We have to then, secondly, the second step in pivoting your vision is adopting that vision mindset. You have to fully, I am using that word over. You have to fully have confidence in that vision. That the vision that you established at the beginning of the year, that is your focus. You are going to continue to fully work that vision. Yes? So you understand that point, those 2 steps so far. But you're still asking, okay, I still need to know. How do I know? How do I really know it's time to pivot? Can't I just ride the rest of the year out? No, you can't just ride the rest of the year out. As I said, the pandemic is no excuse for you not working your vision, for you not executing your vision. And there's a principle in business and in establishing a vision, and that principle is called the zombie principle. Yeah, you heard me correctly, zombie. For those of us who like those horror movies, we see zombies and they are coming out and really scary looking. But the principle they are adopting from that is that when you're in that state, that zombie-like state as it relates to establishing your vision, you are in a state of 1, no growth, no progress, no movement. Again, when you are in that zombie-like state, there is a state you are experiencing no growth, no progress, no movement, nothing is happening. Yeah? And what that leads to is a state of stagnation. And so if you're still not convinced that it's time to pivot your vision, and you're still asking me, Giselle, really, how do I know that I really have to pivot my vision? And again, we already established what pivoting means. Change, shift strategy, yeah? And if you are still not convinced, then you need to understand that if you don't pivot your vision, you are going to end up in a state of stagnation. No movement, no growth, no progress, a state of stagnation. And we know what happens after a while when something is stagnated. Eventually, it dies, it dries up. Yes? And so I know, and I know that you don't want the vision that God has given to you to die, to dry up. And so I want to encourage you at this point again. Get up. Understand that it's not lost. Yeah? It's not lost. There is a strategy, there is a tool, and I'm here to encourage you and to show you the way. Pivot your vision today. Get up and go back to the drawing board, yeah? And find a new way to chart how you're going to execute this vision. Don't fall for the fear of pivoting. Because I know for me, and I remember back in March as the pandemic just hit, I was okay. What am I going to do now? But then as I started to apply these principles and the principles of pivoting your vision, fear of the unknown, fear if I could adopt these new technologies and if I could learn, and there is a learning curve, yeah? And for all of us in establishing and working your vision, there will always be a learning curve. But I bite the bullet and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. So don't let the fear of pivoting keep you from starting the process of pivoting your vision. Don't let the fear of if I will be accepted or if this new way is going to give me success keep you from starting the process of pivoting your vision. You have to pivot your vision if you want to avoid ending up in a state of stagnation, no growth, no movement that would lead you to ultimate death. We want to go for a break right now, but when we come back from that break, I want to leave you with 3 tips for pivoting your vision. I call those tips the 3 C's of pivoting your vision. If you want to stay ahead of the game, if you want to stay ahead of the pack, yeah, I want to leave you with these 3 tips for pivoting your vision. We remember the story of the virgins, the wise and the foolish virgins, yeah? So when I come back from our break, I want to give you those tips so we will indeed be wise virgins in understanding our season and understanding that we need to pivot our vision. See you when I come back from break. Come back, I'll be right back. Yes. Welcome back. I am so glad that you are sticking and staying with me. You see, I still have my comfort here. My hot chocolate is still with me. If you are just joining in and you want to know who is this strange face, no, I'm not strange. It's your girl Giselle. I'm back, I tell you, I'm back. We are back in studio, and this is the program Pearls of Wisdom. And today we are taking a stock, yeah? We are pausing. It's the 8th day of the 8th month, the month of August, and we have declared this the month of transition. And so I'm helping you transition. And we're speaking today about pivoting your vision. And so before the break, we left off talking about some steps in pivoting your vision, and I'll quickly recap. You have to assess where you are, yes. You have to adopt a vision mindset. One of the pitfalls of pivoting your vision you have to look out for is that state of zombie, and that's a real term that they use in business when they're speaking about pivoting vision, yeah? And what it means is that you don't want to end up in a state of no growth, no progress, because what that leads to is stagnation, yes? And if something is stagnated, the next step is death. So before we end the podcast, the program this morning, I want to give you 3 tips of pivoting, and it's called the 3 C's. But just before I go into that, I just want to say good morning to a few people. Good morning, Candice. Good morning, Helena. Thank you for joining. I know you could have pulled the covers a little tighter. It's that kind of morning. But thank you for joining me this morning. And hear what? If you know someone who needs to hear about pivoting their vision, you share this program. Let them get this information, yes? So let's get into the 3 C's of pivoting your vision. The first C, core values. Again, in January, if you were with me in January, we spoke about establishing your core values. What are your core values? What are your personal core values in establishing your vision? The non-negotiables, the things that are priority, they are integral to you setting your vision up, yeah, and working your vision. What are your core values? So as you are now pivoting, yeah, for the next half of the year, you are going to re-establish those core values. And it's a lot of assessment again built into this process. So you're going to look at the core values that you already have established, and you're going to see if those core values are the same, yes? Has anything happened because of the pandemic to warrant a change in your core values? And that's what you need to do at this point as you're starting the process of pivoting. Look at your established core values, see if there needs to be a change, and reconfirm your commitment to these core values. The second C that you need to be aware of in understanding how to pivot your vision is competencies. So again, 1, core values, 2, competencies. What are competencies? Those are your skills, the skill set that you need to establish your vision. You know the vision that you need to work. I know the vision that I need to work, and a part of my vision is establishing Pearls of Great Price Empowerment Services as a household name through podcasting. And that's where Pearls of Wisdom, that's where it came out of. That's where it was birthed out of. And so because of the pandemic, I still had to assess, is this my core value? Is this my commitment to establish Pearls of Great Price through Pearls of Wisdom as a household name, bringing wisdom, educating, empowering women through this podcast? Yes was the answer to that. And so as we are looking at the second C, competencies, what competencies would I now need to do that? So the pandemic came, and so I had to retool, get some new skills in order to continue serving through the podcast. Everything shifted totally online, yes? And so I had to now adopt these new skills in order to function in a totally virtual environment. So you would do the same. You would assess what skills you already have, what competencies you already have, and what you need to pivot now as you are moving forward into the second half of the year. And the last C in pivoting your vision, you must communicate this pivot. Yeah? So in January, when you established your vision, you communicated that vision one way. And so as we are now affected by this pandemic, you have to see, is your way of communicating your vision going to be the same? Or do you have to find new channels, new avenues for people to understand your vision and to see you working your vision? You may not be able to work your vision or be seen or communicate your vision in the traditional, and I use that word, the traditional sense. So what non-traditional way can you now communicate your vision? Yeah? So I really want to encourage you today. All is not lost. You have the opportunity now to pivot your vision, to shift, change strategy, find new channels, find a new stream, as it were. You're going to assess your core values. You're going to adopt a vision mindset. You're going to not allow yourself to get into that state of zombie-likeness, that state of stagnation, which leads to death of your vision. No, 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 no. Your vision is not going to die in the 8th month. This is the month of new beginnings. This is the month of transition. So your vision is not going to die. What you're going to do, you're going to establish your core values again. You're going to get new competencies and you're going to communicate that vision. You're going to work that vision again. This is August. This is the month of transition. And I want you to tell yourself that you are going to make it. Yes? So, again, thank you for joining us. This has been the program Pearls of Wisdom. I am Giselle Allen Clement, and you can see I'm so excited. We're back in studio. We're coming into your space live again. God be praised. So until next time, which is the 4th Saturday of this month, I'll be back in studio again, coming into your space. Until then, you are a winner. Go ahead and pivot your vision. Bye.
I'm always gonna win. Yeah. The enemy really want my mind. I got to stay strong and keep my armor on. If I fall, rise the next time. Can't let them keep a good soldier down. See, I'll rise and take my place. 'Cause I'm more than a conqueror. I'm gonna finish this race. So call me a winner, yeah. As my God, he will fight for me. Call me a winner. Jehovah done said victory. So when you see me again and you give me a hail, call me by my right name. Call me a winner, yeah. That's who I am. Yeah. A winner, I'll fight this fight with the prize in sight. Never give up on this journey called life. Thankful for where you brought me this far. With your strength, I'll keep pushing on and high.